Should you go to DJ conferences? Are they actually worth it, or are they just an excuse to party in Vegas for a few days? I spent the entire week at MEX 2025, one of the biggest DJ conferences out there. I checked out all the seminars, walked the showroom floor, and I got to meet a ton of DJs from across the country. And after all that, I got some real thoughts on whether DJ conferences are actually worth your time and your money. Some things were great, some things were frustrating, and some things just straight up didn't make any sense. So in this video, we're breaking it all down. The good, the bad, and what needs to change if conferences like MEX want to keep DJs coming back. Let's get into it. Now, for the last 4 or 5 years, MEX has been held at the South Point Hotel in Las Vegas. And it has everything that a conference needs, like space for the showroom floor, hotel rooms for all the guests, space for all the education and seminars, and even a built-in nightclub for throwing parties. And for being in Vegas, everything is relatively affordable. That's because South Point is located on the south side of Las Vegas, about 15 minutes from the Strip, which can be kind of a pain if you want to actually go out and explore Vegas. And one big downside about having the conference at the South Point rather than just being right on the Strip is that you spend all your time inside of this hotel and this casino. You never get to go out and explore the rest of Vegas. So kind of a shame. So that's why I'm staying at the Planet Hollywood this year, because honestly, every time I come, I never get to check out Vegas. So hopefully it'll make it more fun. Now, that's not to say that the South Point is a bad location. I think it's great. I've heard some DJs complain about the South Point and how MEX should be held somewhere else. I guess they think this will make the conference better, but I don't think that's the answer. And MEX does a lot of things right, and nothing is perfect, so of course it gets some things wrong, but I don't think location is the problem. It's how you structure the conference. I'll tell you more about that later. Regardless, having the conference in Vegas definitely makes it super attractive for DJs. Speaking of things that are super attractive, guess who I just ran into?
Hey, how you doing?
One huge pro of going to a DJ conference is meeting tons of DJs from across the country. And being in Vegas, there are so many things you can go out and do that is outside of the DJ conference. All right, so we've been walking on the Strip for about, I don't know, like 2-3 hours, and Demand bought a Rolex.
Hey, I did well in the slots today.
Demand, now that you have a Rolex, what are you gonna do next?
Try to buy another one.
Probably one of the most important parts of any DJ conference is the education. So this year I made it a point to go check out some of the seminars. All right, we're heading over to the main room to see Mike Walter speak about emceeing and all that kind of stuff. I got my boy Kai over here. We saw Mike Walter give a seminar about emceeing, which he always does a great job at articulating his message and helping DJs see things from a different perspective. And we even saw DJ Kova give a seminar about music production and how to make your own edits, which was super cool. Now, I think most of the speakers did a pretty good job, but I felt like it was kind of surface level at times. With so many DJs coming to the show, some of them might have just started and some of them have been probably DJing for 30 plus years. They're all at different levels in their business, and a lot of the content felt like it was targeted towards the beginners. And I think that's great, but what about all the people that are on step 5 when it comes to marketing? A lot of the seminars give you just enough to sound useful, and then if you want to take a step further and learn more, you gotta pay extra and sign up for their online course. And people are already dropping thousands of dollars just to be here, from the flights, the hotel rooms, and even passes to the show. This shit is not cheap. If I sit through an hour-long seminar, I want to see some valuable info that I've already paid for, not just another sales pitch to make me spend more money. And that's why a lot of DJs don't attend a lot of the seminars at any DJ conference, not just MEX. And I think it comes down to the value that people get. Not just that, but a lot of speakers that DJs end up seeing at these shows are from the East Coast. And that's not a bad thing, but this show's on the West Coast. A lot of DJs that come to MEX are based on the West Coast or places like Utah and Texas. Something that might work in New York might not work in Utah. It's a completely different market. And on top of that, the conference is in a huge Latin market. From what I could see, there were no seminars that were specifically catered to that side of DJing. And the show is literally called MEX. Why is there no Hispanic representation? Hell, I'm white as snow, but being from Texas, sometimes I get an event where I gotta play a lot of Latin music. So when I go to these seminars, teach me the difference between genres or show me some deep cuts of Latin music that I've never heard of, or even how a Latin wedding is different from other weddings that I'm used to playing and what to look out for. And that just scratches the surface. You can pull people from California or Arizona or even Texas and let them talk about their experiences on a panel. Things like how they handle mixed culture weddings or how Latin music kind of varies between different regions. That kind of insight would be huge for DJs that are working in those diverse events. And if you want to see a Latin specific seminar, let me know in the comments about what kind of stuff you want to see. I won't teach it, but I just want to see what you guys think, because I think this was a huge miss for MEX, and honestly, one of the biggest things that I saw that a lot of DJs were disappointed at. Aside from that, I saw seminars from boosting sales, networking, even things like growing leads, and even things like AI and music production. But I didn't see anything about social media. Clients are using social media than ever before, especially when it comes to finding your next wedding DJ. And a lot of DJs really honestly struggle with social media. So why wasn't there a seminar about it, or even a panel? I'd love to see a panel with like Eric Rhodes, Jack Christian, Nick Spinelli, even YouTubers like Cleveland Terry or Aaron Strawn, and just let them talk about social media and what works and doesn't work for them. Or even have someone give a seminar about social media with a slideshow and everything. Not just how to make content, but how to make good content that can help you get leads on Instagram and TikTok. Because at the end of the day, every DJ at that conference wants to book more events and wants to charge more money. And in 2025, clients have to be convinced of that. Not just from your sales pitch and your fancy business cards, but actually see what it's like to have you DJ at a wedding. So for MEX 2026, I hope they put some more emphasis on booking speakers that actually work in the area that the show is held at and where people are actually coming from to watch the show. And of course, the seminar too focused on Latin DJs and social media. And let's get some new faces up there. With hundreds of DJs going to these shows, there are bound to be a few that are really skilled in a specific niche of DJing. So give these new people a chance and let them show DJs what they got and how they can help the community in a different way. Because to be honest with you, I'm tired of seeing the same people every single year. One part of any conference that DJs care a lot about is the showroom floor. You had booths from industry leaders like Pioneer, QSC, RCF was there, and of course there were tons of other booths from companies that had some really cool stuff to show off. I got to check out all of RCF's new speaker setups. Of course, QSC had their KC12 there for people to listen to. And I even got to check out the new EV70 and EV90 as well. Now with all of this, you're probably thinking, MEX is a pretty good show so far, right? Well, here's where another problem comes in. You see, MEX is partnered with the Photo Booth Expo. These are two different conferences that are loosely put together, and they're happening at the same place at the same time. And when you're trying to have two showroom floors at the same time, someone's gonna get left out. And in this case, it's the DJs.
I still wish the DJ area was bigger.
For sure. The photo booth section is like 3 times the size.
And it's getting bigger and bigger. It was over here.
Yep.
Over there. So they keep pushing it this way.
You can see in this footage the difference in size between the DJ showroom and the photo booth showroom. Clearly, we got some favoritism going on here. But it's not like they could just make more room for the DJ side of things, right? Well, they could, but it's a little complicated. In order to have enough vendors and sponsors for the conference, you gotta have enough DJs attend the show in order to make it work for them financially. And if you only have 20% of attendees that are DJs and 80% of them are photo booth people, it makes sense why the showroom is laid out this way. Which kind of turns into a never-ending cycle. The DJ side keeps getting neglected, whether it's the showroom, the education, the parties, and over time, less and less DJs go to the show. And I don't have an answer for this other than MEX just taking a risk and improving the show in all aspects, and then marketing it properly and hoping that DJs get the message and attend. And just so we're on the same page, I love going to MEX. It's probably one of my favorite shows to go to, but it feels like they're leaving a lot of things on the table when it comes to the DJs. And honestly, it could be one of the best DJ conferences in the entire country if they did a few things just a little differently. Now let's talk about the parties at MEX. When you go to a DJ conference, you'd expect the parties to be kind of a big deal because you get to experience other DJs perform and show off their skills. The DMS party on Tuesday night was hands down the best part of the week. You had people like Pete Down, Audio One, Drew and Fuse, and a ton of other great DJs. And you could tell they were playing for the room and not some pre-programmed set, which is something that you would expect from these guys. They're the ones playing the clubs every single weekend. They are literally built for reading the crowd. And every year I look forward to the DMS party and it never disappoints. So props to the DMS crew for putting it on. And when it comes to the MEX sponsored parties, this is where things get a little rough. Now this party takes place in a club style room inside of the casino, and they had a huge video wall, they had built-in speakers, club lighting, all the things to make this like a really insane party. But every year they don't use any of it. Instead of using the house system, they roll in a sponsor speaker setup on wheels and park it right in front of the dance floor in front of the stage. And I get it, sponsors pay to have their speakers shown off, but at the expense of having the best sound for the party, that just doesn't make sense. And the speakers weren't bad, but they weren't tuned for the room. You had 100 people on the dance floor standing literally in front of these speakers. And if you were in the back of the room and you're trying to chat with people, you couldn't hear any of the music, just the sound of the bass just rumbling. And you had no idea what song was even playing. And then there's the video wall. They have it just covered in logos from all the sponsors. Like, yeah, I get it. People pay to have their logos shown off on the video wall, but some of them just look terrible. One of them has like a bright white logo and it just lights up the whole place like someone turned on the house lights. Not exactly the vibe you're gonna want for a party. If you want to put sponsored logos on there, that's cool, but at least make it match the party. Put some funky designs on there or rip a video off YouTube and give it a little movement or something. I don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna throw a party, you gotta use all the tools that you have access to. So I've been going to MEX for the last 5 years and I felt like this turnout this year was probably the lowest that I've seen in a long time. You got to remember that this party isn't just for the DJs, it's also for the photo booth people at the Photo Booth Expo. And I don't know if the whole conference turnout was low or if people were just kind of sick of going to the same party every single year. Because it's literally the same party that they threw last year and the year before that and the year before that. Let me give you a little context of what I mean by that. Now, Monday night was the DJ showcase. DJs sign up and MEX gets to pick who's gonna play and in what order. You had some great DJs who have experience DJing in this type of situation, and then you had some that might not be as experienced, and that's okay. It's a showcase. But if you're throwing a 5-hour party and want people to stay all night, you've gotta balance out who plays and when, just like at a club. You'd have 1 or 2 DJs start off strong, they're reading the crowd, they're getting people dancing, and then right at the peak of the night, they switch DJs and then the energy just drops off. Not because the DJ was bad, but their set just didn't fit the moment. You could tell some of them planned their entire set before they even stepped into the room. And at a party like this, where no one physically paid to get inside, people could just leave whenever they want. They could just go to the bar, or they can go out onto the strip, or they could just call it a night and go to their hotel room. That's bad for the sponsors that paid money to show off their speakers or get their logo shown. That's bad for the bar who's trying to make that extra cash. And it's bad for the party overall because it honestly sucks. So a little better curation on the DJ lineup and set times could go a long way. And honestly, these parties are a little too long. Like, we don't need to see 10 DJs play in the span of 5 hours. Like, that's just too much, bro.
Cleveland, what do we think?
I think that this party has so much potential and it's being neglected. I think that with a couple of DJ rearrangements, we can really get this party jumping. It's a whole timing issue that we're not getting.
We got a lot of people like standing around when like 30 minutes ago it was bumping. It was crazy in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt killed it. Now, fortunately, there's a lot of people that came here to dance.
Yeah.
They want to have a good time. But as DJs, we kind of know that they will dance to anything. And if we put somebody, somebody that could really kill it in this slot, not to say that the person DJing right now is bad, but just putting the right person in the position, this place could be raging.
So that was Monday night, and then Tuesday was the DMS party, which was super sick. And then came the Wednesday party. Every year they call this the All-Star Party, and all the DJs on the lineup are just top notch. You had DJ Demand, you had Mad, you had Audio One, and a ton of other great guys. But every year this party always gets overshadowed by something. Some people don't want me to say this, but I don't think the promoter of the show should be DJing their own party. And they especially shouldn't be headlining it. These parties are supposed to showcase talent from all over the country, but if it's the same DJs that are always headlining, it stops feeling like a showcase and more like a show that's all about them. And I know a lot of DJs that feel the same way, but they don't want to say anything because they don't want to lose the chance to play on that stage. And even if you got the chance, you're just gonna open the party to an empty room while the promoter takes the prime spot. I don't know, I just think if you're running the event, your job should be to focus on making it the best party possible, and it shouldn't be about you taking the spotlight for yourself.
The whole point of this is to elevate all DJs and show that we don't just show up and play music and it's about us. It's about making all the DJs look good and also, make the show look good too. They want to make money at the bar. They want to have as many people on the dance floor as possible to make that happen. And right now it's not hitting.
I agree, 100%. And again, no disrespect. It's not about that. It's about putting the right people in the right place. That's it. If I was on the roster, I would say, you know what? Put somebody in there that can take care of this crowd. Remove my ego. You know what I mean? Like, I just want the party to be good. That's it.
For sure. And I would say the same thing. Like, I feel like I'm a good enough DJ, but not to the extent where you're going to put me at the headlining spot at the nightclub, because I know I'm not going to be able to crush it like somebody, I don't know, I'm not going to name someone, but there's plenty of DJs in this room right now that could destroy this dance floor right now, you know what I mean? And make the whole conference look really, really good and really fun.
Agreed, 100%. Hopefully, next year they will take what we're saying and they will make some adjustments. It's just tweaks. It's not replacing the whole thing. It's just tweaks.
So after spending a full week at MEX, here's what I think about it. MEX has a lot of potential. It has a solid venue, great networking opportunities, and the DMS party alone was definitely the highlight of the week. But there are a few things that are holding it back, like the education. It needs to step up. There's just way too much surface level content and people trying to sell you stuff after every seminar. They need to focus more on what DJs actually need to get better. The showroom floor at MEX is struggling because DJ attendance just isn't where it needs to be, and the conference overall feels like it's leaning more towards the photo booth side of things. It honestly feels like if the photo booth expo didn't exist, the DJ expo wouldn't exist either. And let's be real, people don't go to MEX or any DJ conference for the education or the showroom. They go to hang out with their friends that they haven't seen in a while. And that's fine, but if it's the main reason why people are showing up in the first place, then what's the actual value of the conference itself? When it comes to the parties, obviously the DMS party was the highlight, but the official MEX parties need some serious changes. From not using the venue resources to the same people headlining every single year, it's just not something that DJs want to stick around for. And that's the real issue here. DJs need a reason to come back to MEX. If MEX keeps going down this path, I wouldn't be shocked if fewer and fewer DJs go to the show every year. And I want this show to succeed, I really do, but they need to change a lot of things if they want to bring in new people and keep them coming back. That being said, I'll probably go to MEX next year, but right now, if I were to rate MEX for 2025, I'd honestly probably give it a 6 out of 10. It's a good show, but it could be so much better. Hopefully they watch this video and they make some changes, and I'm really excited to see what that looks like for next year. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Will you guys be attending any DJ conferences in the future? And as always, make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.